last Saturday.
People 44 years ago.
No, that was
I didn't know they had trans people 44 years ago.
No,
I don't know if that was a guy or a girl.
Well, according to
Come on,
that,
man. Do you hear this guy? That's it. Stop the podcast. We kicking the bishop off.
People argue that they've had trans people.
Gotcha.
Hey, welcome to Not Up for the Podcast. This is your boy Anthony Conservative Chicano. I got my guys. I got the bishop. I got the token. Man, it's. Hey, we were talking about this off air. This has been the mildest summer. This has been mild. And we talked about not talking about it just so we didn't jinx ourselves, right? I mean, but have you ever you've been in Fresno your whole life? You ever seen a summer like this?
It's been nice so far.
Have you ever seen a summer like this? Can't remember, huh?
I can't remember. Yeah.
So this week we're gonna dip down to the 80s.
Global warming.
Is that what it is?
Let's go.
Let's. He's all in on it.
Get your gas
seating.
Yeah.
What was that?
Cloud seeding.
Cloud seeding. Blame it on cloud seeding. There you go. We still got people who don't believe us, but it's okay. It's okay.
The glacier melt.
It's the glacier melt cooling us off. Hey, man, for Fresno to be in the 80s, I don't know. That's, I agree. I'll take it because it's been hot here lately, but we got a lot going on. There is a lot going on. We want to thank everybody who always tunes in, leaves the comments, sends me clips, all that stuff. We couldn't do it without you guys. We just totally appreciate it. Remember, you can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on the radio, 1550 out here in the Valley. I mean, you can find us just about everywhere. We appreciate it. I love the support. Most of you don't know, but every July I go and I speak at different churches all up and down California, even out of the state sometimes. And I love the support. People come up to me. They know my nickname on the podcast, Conservative Chicano. I mean, it's so funny. They love you. You know how many people have told me they love the token? They're like, we love the token. He's hilarious. And then, of course, you're the all-knowing.
How much do they love?
Well, I don't know if we got a Patreon account or anything.
Well,
okay.
I mean.
Well, we had, listen, no.
What do we need to get monetarily loved?
No, listen. People were going to pay us big bucks to go roller skating, and you guys backed out on me. Okay. We were up to like $600-700. And y'all wouldn't do it. They just wanted they wanted to see me throw my leg over one of y'all two right there. They wanted to see that high kick. I was willing to do it.
All right, Sean.
Oh my God.
They were in.
Will you roller skate?
If the money was real.
Okay, hold on, right here. You heard him say, if you give me real money, I will flash it on this podcast, and we're going roller skating. Look out, Roller King, here we come.
What's Roller King?
Is that what's the Clovis Skate place called? Clovis Skate? Clovis Skate. Here we put it in the comments. We don't know the place. Tell us where to go.
Yo, back to school shopping's no joke.
Okay, so you need the money.
Hey, lace me up. I will go roller skating.
Oh, you heard it here. We're going roller skating. Cue the clip. Let's go. And we got to film it because we got to be able to play it. Mm. I'll be there. Okay. Hey, Nate, the producer, said he'll be there to film. Okay, Ren. Okay, it's done. It's settled. We're going roller skating.
Half the church there.
We'll charge a door fee. $10 to get in to watch.
Hey, listen. Hey, yeah. Kids get Nikes for back to school.
There we go. So we talk about culture and its influence on the church. And, of course, we like to have fun. We pick on each other. Matter of fact, a lot of people who bumped into me, that's the number one thing they say. They always tell me, hey, it looks like you guys have great chemistry. You guys pick at each other a little bit. And I go, we actually do. And they go, but what about the times you guys get heated? I'm like, we don't care. We don't think about it afterwards. We just get heated and we have a good, robust conversation. But please continue to hit the like button, share button. And on today's podcast especially, I would encourage all you believers to really share this with another friend. I want to talk today about how Christians should act. It seems to be some controversy. We got some pastors kind of acting a fool out there and stuff, and we got people who are trying to follow suit. But before we get there, I just wanted to take a minute and I wanted to pay mad respect and homage to a man of God who has since been promoted to be with Jesus. That is none other than Pastor Dr. John MacArthur. What a legend. We are seeing the passing of a guard. We're just stalwarts like him, just legends like him, just men who defended the faith so valiantly are transitioning on or being promoted. I know you still are a big John MacArthur fan. What'd you think about that, his passing?
I mean, it's we talked about it before, man. It was another Chuck Swindoll had passed away.
That was my guy.
Yeah, years
Chuck
ago
Swindoll.
we talked about that, and just I mean, it's unfortunate just because it's a strong voice. it's unfortunate for the world. For us, obviously he's in glory, so it's beneficial for him.
Oh yeah, he's doing good now.
But no, he's had a big influence on my life. From afar. Just I grew up with his voice.
Can I ask you a question on the things that maybe you didn't 100% agree with him on? How did you rectify that? How did you reason that? Like, hey, I don't really know if I agree with him all the way on that, but I still like the guy. How did you do that as a believer?
I think there's things that aren't essential. And so I'm not. To me, it wasn't a big deal. To him, I think they were a big deal. Like he'll fight for him. And so,
everything was a big deal. To that guy. It's true. Yeah.
But I think it wasn't essential to salvation. So
it just didn't
bother me. Yeah.
I mean,
I read his. I just literally read one of his books, preparing for a sermon, called Slave.
His book on Romans, bro. Is there a better teacher on the book of Romans than John MacArthur?
No, I mean he's really good.
Is there a better, bro? I did about 3 of his commentaries on what was three of his sermons on the book of Romans. He didn't get out of Romans 1 for like a year. I mean, the guy he was just brilliant on that. So no, that's good advice. You were just able to say it's not essential. That's just his belief. I'm moving forward. The guy's still good.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Were you a John MacArthur fan? Did you listen to a lot of his stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I was put on to John MacArthur from Deshaun, and I like him as a great teacher. You can look up his stuff and literally find anything that you're looking for.
Anything.
So as far as like sermon prep, he's a great resource, and
he's a go-to for sure.
It was interesting the other day. I was listening to the radio, and it was like a couple days after he had passed, and like he came on as like a commercial or something like that. And as you're talking about, like, it's just a great voice that we won't necessarily have anymore, especially when we have hard topics that culture is bringing up and needs like a voice in the church. It will be missed for sure.
So interesting. I don't know if you guys are aware of this little bit of church history and lean in. So there were 3 churches that I'm aware of in SoCal that had just a dynamic move of God in a close parameter, close proximity. It was Church on the Way, which was Dr. Jack Hayford. It was John MacArthur, Grace Church, and there was another one. I think it was Shepherd's Chapel or something. There was another church. I can't remember. This guy is well known. It's just not well known to me, so I apologize. But what was crazy is, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but you can fact check this. This is facts. At the time that God was moving in SoCal, do you know what the number one growing industry in that same proximity area was? Pornography. And you know who went and preached out against it? John MacArthur. I thought that was really interesting. Van Nuys, in the Van Nuys area. Is that the San Fernando Valley? You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I think it is. But pornography and the porn industry went in there and bought up everything. And they were really producing the majority of that. And yet God was raising up 3 dynamic, strong churches and 3 outspoken voices against it. And it's just a contrasting, right, of like light and darkness. And I thought that was interesting. And they were literally leading people out of the industry into the churches. Like people were getting saved and redeemed and set free. It was just it was amazing. And it just goes to show you that churches belong in places where most people don't want to go, because we're the only ones that have the ability to bring a peace, to bring a joy, to bring what we would call redemptive lift. And I just thought that was real. Real interesting. But you guys could check all that. That is some church history. So in honor of Dr. John, the Babylon Bee, you guys all know that to be satire. They came up with this clip. I want to show everybody this clip right here. The Baptists hold a conclave to select the next John MacArthur. For those of you who are not aware of it, in the Catholic Church, you have a conclave to say, who's going to be the next bishop. And so the Babylon Bee said that the Baptist Church is going to hold a conclave. When I said that to you, did you laugh? Did you get it?
Funny. At first, I just saw the headline, but then I clicked on it, and it was actually a longer article. But yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, did you see it? Did you see how it's all white men? I just thought that was great. The Southern Baptists, yeah.
John MacArthur II.
Yeah. Yeah.
They all got the same barber.
They all got the same barber, same glasses, same suits, just different color ties. I thought that was great.
Well, it's funny, but I didn't send it to you. But right after that, I saw this clip of a pastor, and he's talking about how he was in class with John MacArthur. And the first thing he told them is, "Don't try to be me." He's like, right away, I took my tie off. And I was like, but he was like, if God wanted another John MacArthur, then he would have made one. It's like, don't try to be who I am.
Yeah, which is true, by the way, which, you should always be yourself. But what I love about Dr. John is that was him. you know, for as much as he was staunch on biblical values and biblical stuff that he felt he was right on, you were never going to move him. He was equally as a strong believer in you need to be who God has called you to be. And I thought that was a interesting point in his life. I just want to say this, though. You and I texted you in a moment of panic last week. And that's because I didn't know this, but John MacArthur, Calvinist, which according to other Calvinists, he's not a real Calvinist because he doesn't adhere to all the Calvinistic things. But I didn't know John MacArthur was a dispensationalist on his views of eschatology, the end times. It blew me away. Remember, I texted you out of nowhere, and I was like, did you know this? I can't believe it. And I watched a couple of his sermons and a couple of his defense against that debate because they were coming after him. And what I love about it is the way he's able to approach text and explain all these things. And the guys just shut up. Like, I think they realize, like, I'm not going to win. It's John MacArthur. He's talking circles around me right now. And at one point, he even makes a joke. I hardly ever hear him make jokes. And he goes, unless there's another way to interpret this, I think this is all we have, right? And everybody kind of starts laughing. And the guy goes, yeah, I think that's where we're left. And everybody starts even laughing all the more. And I thought it was really interesting. He was even open, as hardcore as he was a Calvinist, he was even open to a few things not being strictly Calvinistic. So I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, if you watch it, he has a lot of but it's like not during his sermons, but as like on panels, he'll have a lot of funny like stuff he'll say. Oh, does he? Because of his personality, like he's just like, this is what it is. It is just being funny because he knows like I'm this strict.
Hey, when would he do the Q&A with the people in the crowd? Was that every week?
I don't know if it was every week.
That was at his gatherings of some sort.
Well, he did something for his church, and then he did something at conferences.
Yeah, because like there's videos of just he opens up the mic at his church, and they can ask whatever question they want.
So he used to have 2 services every week, and so for a long time he preached 2 different sermons so it'd be one in the morning, one in the evening. Wow. And so that's why basically for the most part he just preached. He was a preaching pastor.
Well, bro, I try to wrap my head around one sermon. This guy just coming out double barrel.
Well, it's funny. I was listening to some of the way how he prepares. He first looks at the Greek and makes sure that they translated it right.
Let me see if this Bible's right.
Hey, he's all calling up NIV. Excuse me, guys. When you did the doulos, you did it was wrong. It was out of context. But you need to fix your Bible.
It was just crazy. That's the reason his teacher was. The way his church was set up was for him to preach.
That's really interesting. Okay, I want to get you. I want to get you guys' take on something. This clip, sticking with the church world, this clip went somewhat viral. It went viral amongst a lot of pastors. This is about Elevation Church, one of their top resource guys. I don't know what you coaches, whatever you want to call them, was explaining a little bit about Elevation and how he made Elevation successful and what his game plan was. I just kind of want to get your thoughts and your takes on this. I don't know why it was as controversial as it was, but a lot of people in the comments were just going back and forth about stuff. But I want you to see this because it has a lot to do with culture. So watch this clip right here.
There's so many different styles of churches. That's a regional thing as well. Like Highlands is in Birmingham, Alabama. It's flavored for the demographics that they reach, and it has done really successful. I don't think if you took Chris Hodges and said launch a church in LA, you would see the same results. He'd have to do something different because the culture there is different. Yeah. I'm not saying Chris Hodges isn't smart enough. He might be able to figure it out and do the same thing again in another city, but it wouldn't be Church of the Highlands, Birmingham, Alabama. It would look something different. Yeah. So whatever it looks like,
because that was my job.
Yeah.
My job was to take Stephen Furtick and put him in different states and countries, by the way.
Were you guys in Canada as well?
Italy. So they have a campus or 2 campuses in Canada, because that campus multiplied into 2. They're killing it. That's probably awesome. The top campus, in my opinion, outside of broadcast numbers, but that's it. So they're killing it. Anyway, just a little anecdote. Let me just throw this out there, and then we talk about it later if you want. But the 2 best campuses quantifiably, as well as preference, and I would know, are the 2 furthest away from the mothership, by the way. Orlando and Toronto, GTA, are the 2 best Elevation campuses by far. And they're the furthest away from the mothership. There's a whole principle in there, and that's not coincidence, by the way. So it's just something to be said for when you put your thumb on something, everybody has an opinion. It's going to drag everything down into this abyss of mediocrity. But when you let pioneers just pioneer and go win at the baseline vision, they're going to kill it. So anyway, side note, different rant for another time. You don't have to pay for that. But I'm saying I would know, of course, what it's like your Chris Hodges to LA sort of a thing, because I had to do the whole Stephen Furtick to another city or state, to like way super hippie places like Asheville, where we put our first woman campus pastor, which of course was heresy and evil and all that.
Oh, shut this episode down.
Turn it off.
So they were So the point I wanted to get to is they said about Chris Hodges, if we were to put him in LA with the Highlands Church, he wouldn't be able to still be Chris Hodges. He'd have to kind of conform to the culture a little bit. In the comments, people were like, basically, but Pastor Chris is a phenomenal pastor. You could put him anywhere. He's going to be able to produce what he's already producing, maybe not to that scale, but he'll still be very successful. The other people were clapping back saying, well, no, it's LA. You're going to have to do a little bit stuff, a little bit more trendy, your worship, your lights, all this stuff. So I'm just listening to people go back and forth in the comments. And to be honest with you, I'm like, there is a difference. We're out here in California, so we know. There's a difference between the way you do church in the Bay Area and the way you do church in the Central Valley. I said Central Valley, by the way, too. There's a way you do church in SoCal as, in different parts of SoCal. Most people don't even realize if you go over to the Bay, every exit, if you're in San Jose, every other exit or every exit, there's a whole different community of people. One could be completely Vietnamese. One could be completely Salvadorian. One could be completely African. One could be completely Cambodian. Like every exit could have a complete different community in there. And so I do agree with these guys who are saying culturally and context-wise, even us, the way we do church in our urban context as compared to the way you do church in North Fresno, it's even different. I don't know. So I don't know why people were pushing back. Maybe it was the guy going, I would know. I'm the one who helped do all this. Maybe it was that guy kind of rubbed people wrong or what. But I thought what they said was right. What do you guys think?
I think that there are enough people who fit the demographic that Chris Hodges would reach that he would still be successful in LA.
What part of LA? Because I don't know that would work in East LA.
No, but he's also not in the East LA demographic in Alabama either.
He's not. You're right.
So I think maybe what rubbed people the wrong way is that Chris Hodges is a very lovable guy, and so
was a phenomenal teacher.
Yeah, and kind of throwing his name out there maybe is what rubbed people.
So you think it was a bad analogy?
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
We just got done talking about John MacArthur.
Yeah,
John MacArthur's church is LA area, right?
Yeah, and you could put in to piggyback off that.
He's a lot more conservative than Chris.
Well, what I was going to say too is you could put John MacArthur in North Fresno, he'd had a mega church. You could put him in the South, he'd have a mega church. You could put him in the Midwest. So that, I guess what I was saying is nuance, certain styles. He just depends on what side of LA, where in the Bay. But anyway, what were you going to say? You agree with Mike? Like that's his bad example.
Yeah, I mean, I the whole even like church strategy thing. I understand. Obviously, I understand the importance of it. I hate to guess the black and white of it. It's like is that
no pun intended, by the way? The black and white.
Where's God leading you? Where's the Holy Spirit involved in this? It's just all like maybe the strategy. Maybe that's how they view it. It's just, I mean, obviously that's maybe I didn't see the whole podcast, the whole thing. Okay. So it's not maybe that's how they view it. And to me, that's what just doesn't sit right. Like it's how can I just move into this place and what's the strategy just to make it bigger? And it's like, okay, where's God leading you? Where's He placed you? Those things are important to me. So I don't know.
So where would you say strategy fits in, though? Let's be honest. Like if we had a scale of 1 to 5, where does strategy fit in? Like 5 for you? And the first one is, did God call you?
First, if God call you, then obviously you want to be successful. If God calls you somewhere. So something you don't throw out the strategy as well. You're just like, I'm going to show up and see. Hopefully this works out. I mean, as we're reading Exodus, we're reading Exodus right now. You see how God established society. He had all these rules. They were structured. So I think
rules, rights, and rules.
Yeah, it's like this balance. Which this guy might have that balance. It's just the way it's presented in here is,
So what rubs you the wrong way is when people lead with strategy instead of lead with calling.
Yeah, because if God calls Chris Hodges to L.A. in this is where God comes, he's going to be successful.
Yeah, you're right.
Like I don't care who he's around. I mean, I think you said it that Chris Hodges has campuses or a lot of black people there. Mm-hmm.
I've been to him. Mm-hmm.
So to say that he can't go to those areas, because he's a phenomenal teacher.
Phenomenal.
He makes it real simple.
Phenomenal.
And that's what I talk about John MacArthur. It's super easy to understand. It doesn't matter who you are. You can come and understand this. And so I think people who are gifted in that way can reach a lot of different people.
They take complex situations, complex questions, complex paragraphs, complex understanding of hermeneutics and exegesis, and they break it down for the most common person to understand.
Yeah, and because my whole thing with when you only led by strategy, and I'm not to try to criticize Stephen Furtick that much, but it's like, how many people in your church are actually saved? Or are they coming because I go to Elevation Church? So how do you view this? Is it a great experience, or are people coming to faith? Are they being challenged in their faith? And I really don't listen to them, so I don't want to criticize them that way, but that's the issue that you make.
Yeah, John MacArthur did not like him, though.
Oh, yeah, you see videos of him. He definitely didn't like him. Yeah.
Unqualified. Johnny Mac, boy, he lets you know how he felt. Yeah.
And so, I mean, we want to grow, because we say here, like, we want people in the seats because people matter. Right. And so we want to have a lot of people in the seats. But those people who are there need to also be challenged and move forward.
I think, Bishop, you bring up a great point. Both of you do, actually. We can't lead with strategy. We have to lead with calling. Did God call you there? Because God will always send a messenger with a message. And so then we can strategize around that. I will say this, though, in defense. If I were to plant a campus in Northwest Fresno, which is a more affluent area, I would do some things different. I would require some things different. I wouldn't have the flavor that we have in the urban area. Some people may say, well, why is that? Because you're just reaching a different type of people. I probably would put on a coat of some sort. I would do some things different. The base of whom I am wouldn't change, but I would do some things different. And it's just how things are done. But it's the same context. If I was whoever was mad at me is not going to be mad at me now. If I was on the coast, like, we were talking about Newport, Costa Mesa area, I would do things different. It'd be a completely lax. I'd probably wear a Hawaiian shirt every Sunday. And I probably would come in flip-flops. And I probably, just different. And so I do think there is some cultural context differences. I think, though, you have to lead with the calling. And most people don't. There's an old saying, some are called and some were sent. Others bought a microphone and went. And so that's the thing we have to know. We have to know that God has called you to a specific area. And God has called me here, and I think the fruit is proving that. And so I just want to encourage everybody, you got to know your calling and then the strategy. I do hear your heart, and I do agree. If we lead with strategy, it's going to fail ultimately. You can't just lead with strategy. You have to lead with, it seemed right unto the Holy Spirit and to us that we would send these people out. And I think that's so, so, so important. Okay, I wanted to circle back on something, but before I do, shout out to all the people who love music, which is meaning not you two, but to the rest of the people.
I like music.
No, I don't want to hear about it, because every time I bring up music, you guys tell me, like, don't talk about Miles Minnick. Don't talk about this person. Don't talk about that person. Anyway, so shout out to everybody.
I like music. I mean, I like good music.
See, here we go. See, this is okay. Anyway, Saturday, which was the 18th. Was that the 18th? Was it Saturday?
Yes,
I think it was. On July 18th, this famous song right here was dropped. Play that clip right there. Come on, somebody.
I see her in a smoky room. I smell a wine and cheap perfume. Oh, a smile they can share the night. It goes on and on and on. Come on. Strangers waiting.
Okay. 44 years ago, last Saturday.
People 44 years ago?
No, that was
not I didn't know they had trans people 44 years ago.
No,
I don't know if that was a guy or a girl.
Well, according to
Come on,
that,
man. Do you hear this guy? That's it. Stop the podcast. We kicking the bishop off.
People argue that they've had trans people since the beginning of the world, man.
Gotcha.
So.
Bro, how dare you talk about my boy Perry like that? That's Hanford's finest. That's Central Valley representation.
What's his name?
Steve Perry.
Steve Perry, okay.
Why? Come on, man.
You got a leopard vest on, long hair.
That's how we dressed in the 80s.
And then mustache, like maybe a liner, the eyeliner mustache.
Hey, hold on. How about Neil Sean playing on a PRS right there, that little riff? Come on, everybody. That was the Giants' miracle song right there. Shout out to all the Giants fans. If you don't know Don't Stop Believing, something wrong with you.
The song sounds good.
Okay.
They play good.
Are you actually giving a compliment?
No, it's good.
That's before auto-tune. Your generation don't even know what to do without auto-tune.
They're talented. They're good.
That's right. Say it again for everybody to hear. People in the back. Say it again.
It sounded good.
That's right. No. They were what?
They're talented.
Deshaun said it sounded good.
Okay.
She's. You called him trans.
Can't believe you clowning on the way. Hey, that style coming back, bro. That style coming back. Okay.
Him, her.
So trending. This is I'm on the trending topic real quick. Go ahead. Go to this next one. Do you guys know what's going on there?
I just looked that up.
Okay.
I was telling him about it the other day.
Okay. Play it for everybody, and then we'll explain it. Play. This is trending, baby.
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy. I'm not quite sure.
Okay, so let's go back to that title real quick right there, Nate. So just in case you don't know, this was at a Coldplay concert, and this couple was actually having an affair.
They went straight from the tanning beds to the concert.
So he is a CEO, founding of a $1 billion corporation, and that's his HR lady. His wife was at home, and this was like old kiss cam, and this is a corporate scandal. So anyway, if we could meme this caption, you got a meme for that right there. What is that saying right there? What advice did you give that brother right there? What advice? Come on.
You're a dumb donkey.
You're a dumb. Is that code for what you want to say for something?
You're a dumb donkey.
What meme would you get if you had to meme that? What would that meme say right there?
I don't know. I mean, the easiest way not to get caught cheating on your wife is don't cheat on your wife.
Can we do a segment? Can we do wise words from the bishop? Can we do a little airy background music? Good evening. Welcome to Wise Words of the Bishop. What is it again? What do you not do?
The easiest way not to get caught cheating on your wife is not to cheat on your wife.
Man, everybody agrees. Can we get applause in the background? We get applause. Yeah. There you go. If I had to caption that right there, was at first they were lost in love, and then when he said, "Look at this couple," it was, "Oh snap!" That's all I can say. These guys. Okay, that was trending. I want to have some fun with you guys. So, another thing. Let's go more positive, more spiritual. How about Pastor Greg Lowry, Harvest Church? 45,000 people filled Angel Stadium. Go ahead and play this clip while we're talking through it. Go ahead and play this clip. 45,000 people. Cody Carnes and Carrie Job, leading worship. Look at that. Blessing. Yeah, is that incredible? So many people responded. So many people responded to the invitation to receive Christ. Fire marshal shut it down. Too many people on the field.
Oh, so they said come down.
It says this: when the invitation to follow Christ was given, so many people responded. The fire marshal had to close the field. More details to follow. Is that incredible?
That's cool.
You know, I've been going up and down California last couple of weeks, and there's a hunger. Something's stirring, and you know, as much as we talk and we joke, the trending stuff, my heart bleeds the gospel. You know, going back to John MacArthur, that was one of the things he was arguing about, you know, predestination. God already knows who he calls. And Dr. John defends it. No, you need to preach. You need to give an invitation. How will they know unless they hear? How will they hear unless someone sent? It was incredible. He was going back and forth, just darting at people. No, you preach that gospel. You imagine there's a lost person in here. It was brilliant. And of course, nobody argues with them. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, there's a move of God happening, and I don't want to miss it. I want to be on board with what God is doing. I'm so excited. What did you think when you saw that video? Wasn't that incredible?
Yeah, that's cool. It's cool to see people come and worship. Yeah, it's awesome.
What do you think about that fire marshal shutting it down, though? What do you think, Mike?
Oh, somebody's got to be the bad guy, right? Like, I know, guys. I know they can pray for you. Like, but they'll reach out their hands. And pray for you.
Just what do you think about that many people responding, though? That many people are hungry for a life change, for something substantive, you know, for something to radically be different in their life, that they would just come down to that altar.
Yeah, I think a lot of churches are seeing, the pendulum swinging back. Post COVID, people coming back to church, people who are young, who are hungry, a lot of young people who are hungry, a lot of young people, and I think how do I say it without making political? There are a lot of people who don't want to show this. They don't want to see churches that are really doing well. They don't want to show, a lot of these athletes coming out who are coming out in their face.
Scheffler did this weekend. Scheffler, he won the Open and the golf tournament, and they were asking him all those golf questions, and he was just unmoved. He goes, "Hey, the two greatest honors to serve the Lord and have kids." I mean, and like people are like, this is he's his trajectory, if I can, and double back to you, is to be one of the greatest golfers of all time, and the guy just doesn't get rattled, and he's always constantly turning the glory to God, and so he's got to be influencing all these young golfers, the platform he has. Look at this man, devout person of faith. The other athletes, right? The Saquon Barkleys. Hey, I just gave my life to Jesus. I mean, I don't know. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so it's cool to see videos like this because I think this is actually representative of what's really going on, rather than kind of like the undertone of, church, how it was during 2020, 2021.
Yeah, I do think there's a fresh move going. There's something happening, something stirring the waters, and I'm really excited about that. I do want to segue to something that caused me a little bit of concern. And then I think we'll close with what we've been reading in the book of Exodus. The whole reason I got here, Bishop, to be honest with you, is recapping your sermon yesterday. First off, do you Monday morning quarterback yourself on your own sermon? Do you watch yourself and critique yourself? And are you hard on yourself after preaching?
I don't watch myself back, but I do have some things I would do different. But
how do you feel? Give me scale 1 to 10. How do you feel like you did? What do you give yourself yesterday?
Preached too long. I knew that was going to happen. I just couldn't figure out how to go shorter. So I really wanted that to be short.
So 1 to 10, what are you giving yourself for yesterday?
I don't know.
You giving yourself like 6.5, 7?
I don't know. I was happy with the response. I was worried about this of what I was preaching on, the topic.
Okay.
So, but people responded pretty well. Okay. So I was happy about that.
So you give yourself a solid 7?
Sure.
Okay, solid 7. Mike, let's just rate the Bishop. How did Bishop do yesterday? You give him a solid 7? Or are you gonna give him 7.25?
No, of course I'm gonna give him a better grade than a 7. Yeah. No, I thought he did great. Would you prefer to only speak once, or to get to speak 3 times? Because I'm asking.
What message you feel was your best? Yeah.
I mean, this time usually I make no changes. This time I was actually able to make adjustments, and so
you guys were talking about something earlier, and I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Probably the second one, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the one I didn't see.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. What the reason I got here, and then you can share your takeaway if you want to, and then your own evaluation. I got here because you said something that I know firsthand experience because I was with you on one occasion. So I'm gonna let them know that. Okay. You said it's funny as I went to my relative's funeral. Your premise was it's not who you are, it's whose you are, right? And you went on to share the story about you was at a family's funeral and they didn't call you Deshaun, they call you Dexter's son. And just so everybody knows, we were at a barbecue spot just right up the road from the church. What is that street that we was at?
Weber.
Is Weber? Yeah, Clinton Weber. And we walked into that barbecue spot, and that elderly lady, she saw you. And she goes, "Oh, you must be Dexter's son."
Yeah. And
we were chit-chatting. I don't know if you remember this conversation, but we were laughing about it earlier because the barbecue spot wasn't that good. And we were like, man, we wasted the money. We do judge barbecue spots. How about we be honest about that?
Well,
we judge the ribs, the biscuits,
tri-tip anymore.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
But just so people know, we do judge food. We are harsh on food, just so we were clear about that. But we were talking, and you said, you said there's a lot of old timers who knew my dad and who know me as his son. And that really makes me think about how I'm acting, what I'm saying, will this bring reproach amongst my family? How would this look towards my family?
Yeah.
And I thought about that. And when you said yesterday, it's whose you are, not who you are. It triggered me back to what you were saying that one time. Like, hey, you need to act right. You need to know time and place, what you're doing. Because then you close with that story, second service, about, getting out of character when they came after your wife and kids. And, and I was thinking about that. And the reason I wanted to segue that, but I'll let Mike get some thoughts in here on your sermon yesterday, is I thought, if only Christians walked around with that mentality. If only we walked around with the mentality like, hey, this is going to bring some shame on my father. I should probably watch myself. Hey, man, this is pulling me out of pocket right now. I should probably watch myself. If we only knew that this was bringing shame on Christ for our behaviors and our actions, I think people would act different. Does that make sense? You see how that just all started correlating. I thought, man, because there's been a couple statements that I'm going to get to it in a minute. But what do you think about what I was saying right there?
Yeah, no, I agree. It helps put in a mindset of like who you represent. Yeah, but a lot of times people just don't, or people didn't have good fathers or good mothers or good families, so they don't even think of or consider that because they didn't grow up with that. So when they have now God as a heavenly father, that doesn't cross their mind in that way because it's how you grew up.
No, that's a great point. Yeah, that's a great point. What'd you think of, what stood out to you yesterday in the message?
Well, I mean, just to kind of say something off of what you said, I had a friend of mine from the gym. He came and he actually knew Deshaun's dad from elementary school, and so it was interesting that he was tying that in, and then actually having somebody that goes, man, what was he saying earlier? Because I talked to him about it today. He said they went back like 60 years or something like that.
How old is your friend?
Oh man, he's old.
Oh, so that's why. So he knew his dad. Okay.
Yeah, I mean he's holding on real well. So I think he's older than I think he is.
Oh, okay.
And
so anyway, was he kind of testifying like, hey, that's who his dad was, or what?
Oh no, he was just he was amazed that that's who he is. Man, I can't believe that's his son. I mean, I knew him and his brothers since they were.
Do you still get that? Do you still get people who knew your dad? Like they know you, or?
I mean, I do the same things every day, every week, so I'm not going out of that sort of same route. So I don't see a lot of people. I don't,
Okay. But that's a trip. And so was he excited to hear him then after he knew that was Dexter's son?
Yeah. So he says he goes to another church. He goes, hey, anytime he's up, you let me know.
Yeah,
I'll come back.
I love how that support is there. Now, did you tell your mom you was preaching?
Yeah, she was there.
Okay, she was there. Good. Because sometimes you don't be telling your mom you're preaching, man. I'd be like, where's your mom at? That's good. Because if my mom was closer to town, she'd be there, just so you know. On the front row. Telling me I'm doing a good job. And anybody who says otherwise, she's going to let them know I was doing a good job. The reason I say that, guys, is I just feel like I'm going to play you a clip. Well, I already know you don't like the guy, but I'm just going to play you a clip. And I'm just like, watch the clip and we're going to talk about, you need to act right. Watch this clip.
This woman is the only woman I've been inside of, and when I'm thirsty, I drink her. I stopped tasting things that didn't belong to me.
He lying. He's lying, dude. I'll tell you right now, he's lying. People who say crazy, stupid stuff like that, he's lying. First of all, it's nasty, but second of all, he is lying.
Oh my God. Tell me how you really feel.
He's lying.
But why? Why? It's a marriage conference. I get it, but why? But why do that?
Yeah, I mean, I already know, like, people share his arguments will be, I get that from Proverbs. And so, because it says that in Proverbs. But I told to someone just recently, too, the way you say stuff matters. And the way that that's not okay. Like, even though he'll have the argument, just like the way you present it matters.
Can I ask you guys a question? If you're doing that as the pastor, how do you expect people to conduct themselves as parishioners? He just set a standard way too low. Mm-hmm. You know what the part that really made me upset? He didn't say it. He said it for emotional response.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then he does that look on his face, but then he sticks his tongue out. Why? What are you doing? What are you teaching your sheep? It says, imitate me as I imitate Christ. Follow me as I follow Christ. I just don't think that's it. I understand it's a marriage conference, and you you could be a little bit more free at a marriage conference, and you could talk about a little bit more things freely. But I just think that was poor taste. Am I wrong in that?
No, I agree with you. I mean, I literally, that's the what he was arguing. I preached on that scripture that he's talking about.
Yeah,
like a few weeks ago at an event.
Yeah, at Proverbs. Yeah, you did. Yeah.
And so, but
7.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, 5. Yeah, 5.
Yeah.
7's the other one. Can you put hot coals in your pants?
But the way you present stuff matters in the way, because it literally says also don't make all that stuff public. It needs to stay private. It's what imagery are you giving people about you and your wife right now? Like that's the place you have when you talk about subjects like that. That's what you need to be careful of. Like where are you leading people to? Obviously we need to talk about those issues, but you need to do it in good taste.
Thoughts, Mike? Other than he was lying, you give me another thought.
He's dirty. Don't go to his church. What else? I just think that's so distasteful. I think it's so dishonoring to your wife who's sitting there next to you. Like you said, I mean, you would expect that maybe in that setting from, somebody who was standing up in the audience and making a fool of themselves. You wouldn't expect that, or you shouldn't expect that. And you shouldn't be okay with, a lead pastor of a large church doing that who's leading lots of people. So, boo to you.
I'm going to show you another clip, and then another one you're not a fan of, but I'm going to show you another clip. I want to get your thoughts on this right here.
You having a desire to serve, that's a beautiful thing. I have a desire to serve. I don't want to be exploited. I don't want you to take my desire to serve and turn me into a modern day slave of your church and then throw Jesus glitter jargon all over it. Come every weekend with your fresh yes. You about to get this fresh no. About to get a really fresh, sizzling no from me. Are you going to do my admin stuff? Are you going to come back with the admin? No, I'm not going to be able to do that. Oh my God. Will you be helping us with the? No, I won't be able to do. Oh my God. What's going on? I will continue to give God my yes. You're going to start getting my no's. I just got married. I'm going home. We're going to brunch. We get here before the church service begins and we don't leave until the parking lot's empty and we miss brunch. We're going to brunch. I'm going to Cheesecake Factory before they stop selling the Belgian waffle.
You're so refreshing, Tim. I'm so grateful for you.
I love you, girl. I get really defensive and overprotective. That's my apostolic nature. I don't like to see people being taken advantage of. Again, your pastors, I know they're good people. They're just running antiquated plays.
No.
And their turnover rate in their volunteer department, I know you're not the only one. You're just the latest one.
Go ahead. What do you think?
I mean, I agree that we don't want to exploit people.
But what do you think of this clip?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't care for him, but I mean, I think
he didn't cuss or smoke weed.
I don't know that he smokes weed. I don't think he smokes weed, but the cussing part.
Well, either way, it's good.
Yeah, it's good. Is it me? But I hear what he's saying, but I don't feel what he's saying.
Yeah, I know, because I don't, unless I miss something, I don't inherently see anything wrong with what he said. I think we do need to care for people, know the season of life they're in, and take care of them. And that's why I'm not afraid to tell someone to serve, because I know what the heart is behind it. Why I want people to serve, and I'll tell them that, and I'll get on stage and tell everyone that without any shame. And so, I know we care for people.
Right.
And so maybe he grew up in a situation, or maybe he was a pastor who didn't care for people. Maybe
he was a pastor.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So maybe he didn't care for people, and now he realized, I didn't care for people. And now he's.
Do you know what my axe to grind is? I have 2 axes to grind. I'm gonna go with the first one on this clip. You're telling people to run an antiquated plays when you're not even running a play. You're Monday morning quarterbacking on people who are running churches, and you're not running a church. You're dropping your 5 cents, 10 cents, even $1, but you're not doing nothing to help. How do you know the struggle? What's really going on? You've been out the game. You turned your church over. How do you know how these people are really being cared for? If you're taking it off the voice of one person, how they're being cared for, is that really how they're being cared for? Or could they just be jaded? He sounds very frustrated. That's all I'm saying. I mean, listen, context of what he said, you do need to care for people. Amen. But to say this is my apostolic nature, okay, if you're apostolic, are you starting a church? Are you helping to start other churches? What are you doing with it? So you mean God gave you a gift and you ain't using it? Then you're not giving anybody a fresh yes. You're giving God a fresh, sizzling no. Because you're too busy eating Belgian waffles. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. Yeah, no, he's.
You're going to get up there and say you have an apostolic anointing. What are you doing with the apostolic anointing? If you say apostolic, then I expect you be starting churches at least on a yearly basis. And you got you a cadre of group. Is that a big enough word? Cadre. That you got you a cadre of pastors that you are discipling, intentionally investing in, financially, spiritually, all these things. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, context, you right, Tim. That was good. You right. You on the money on that. Shouldn't abuse people. Amen. Hallelujah. Let's do that. Take care of people. Make sure you're not doing them wrong. I agree, 100%. But I'm saying consider the source. They're listening to you. You're self-proclaiming. You have an apostolic nature. Well, are you using your... Listen, people learn from what you say, but they reproduce who you are.
Well, as I'm looking at the title of it, I think one of the things... You had showed a clip, probably like a couple years ago of like one of those funny comedians making fun of church. Mm-hmm. And I didn't think it was funny. And everybody, I think you guys were kind of like, why do you think it was funny? And I was like, I just feel like there's enough stones to throw at the church. Right. That people already do. Mm-hmm. And so now I'm kind of loosening up a little bit. But like even with this, I think the way that they clipped it is... It makes the church look bad. Mm-hmm. And I think that's probably my bigger beef, because I think that if you wouldn't have clipped it and just given it like the totality, we probably would all agree with what he was saying, and maybe not be as frustrated. But with the way it's put out, I bet you at least half of the people who are liking it are people who have church hurt. And so all he's doing is just fanning that flame of I'm not going to tell the church yes anymore, and I'm frustrated and I got used and abused by the church, and this, like you said, he's not helping the situation.
He's not.
Yeah, I didn't even see the title when the church tries to free you from bondage but ends up enslaving you. You should send them my sermon. This is the whole point. That the whole thing is that you become free and you become slaves unto God. Mm-hmm. Like, no, you still become enslaved. And the word is not servant. The word is still a slave. Like, you're the lowest of the low. And so the whole point is like...
A type of slave, by the way.
And so the whole point is like God controls what you do. If God says you're not supposed to have the bread and waffles on Sunday and you're supposed to serve, then you go serve and don't have the bread and waffles. And so I think the whole point is like we as pastors, we're supposed to make sure we're taking care of people. And the way that we do that and the way I tell people is I need more people to serve. So that when you're out sick, I can actually care for you and be there for you. Not worried about, dang, I ain't got no one to fill the spot. Mm-hmm. Like, no, I want to have enough people where you can call up, where you can go on vacation. We're actually happy for you. Not done, man, we're missing sister so-and-so. What we go do? It's like, no, we have enough people. You enjoy your time. And so we need more people to be involved, because so much throughout church, there's been only a few people that have been involved and they've been doing all the work. But we need everyone to step up, and so that we can really care and love each other in the right way.
I couldn't have said it better myself. 100% agreement with it. I'm still frustrated. I've just got to get my axe to grind. What I'm frustrated with. You can't tell me you have an apostolic nature.
Oh, I mean, this is Tim Ross. I mean, what do we expect from this dude?
Oh, okay. Well, that made me feel bad.
Yeah, you're expecting way too much from him.
So here. Okay. Yeah. Well, you solved multiple problems today, Deshaun. I mean, hey guys, I got a great words of wisdom from the bishop again. The best way not to get caught cheating is don't cheat. On your wife. Words of wisdom from the bishop. Hey, Anthony, you won't get frustrated. Consider the source. Words of wisdom. I hate that, because once again, this is where I go with you. It brings reproach upon the church again. There's already enough people clowning on people with apostolic natures, and maybe that's why John didn't ever use that title.
No, he didn't want people to call him pastor.
He hated all that, and because he said the abuse of it. But yet the guy was clearly apostolic. Period. And I know my charismatic friends have a problem with that, right? Because, here's speaking tongues. Whatever. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. Another reason why I got to axe to grind, I can't even play the clip. I can't play the clip. I mean, I could play the clip for you guys later. But I feel bad for the John Gray clip. We might have to put a warning on that. I mean, at least it's somewhat innuendos. Tim Ross is doing his podcast, which he's highly successful in. Praise God. That's good for him. I'm happy for him. And I know he has some good segments on there because I've listened to the whole thing. It was 3 hours long. I listened to it. But there's a segment in there where basically this woman's complaining about her husband, and her husband doesn't really appreciate her anymore. And one of it is she got a little sloppy, put on a little bit of weight and all this stuff. Tim goes on for a solid 20 minutes. Solid. Talking about this whole thing. But in the midst of his diatribe, he talks about, women got a lot of smoke on men. If they wanted to ruin a man's ego, they could ruin a man's ego. And he went on to describe male anatomy. Talking about, and I'm not kidding, on his podcast that believers tune into, she over here putting up with your that's less than this when she was already having this, and yet she ain't comparing you to that. And she stuck with you. I was in the car with my wife. And I was like, that is the most, listen to me, hedonistic, carnal thing you could ever say as a believer. Because what binds you together in covenant is the covenant you two made. Had nothing to do with particulars of anatomy. And you've deduced it down to comparings and all this. And my whole thing, and I looked at my wife and I said, if y'all would have never been with anybody else, you wouldn't know what you was missing. Because that's what this whole thing. She over there missing that, but she ain't complaining about your fat self with your less than. And I'm like, what is this that Christians are tuning into? This is the biggest.
He should be on like The View or something like that.
But at that rate, he should be on Howard Stern. But you're supposed to be helping other believers. No, but you should be pointing them back to the cross. No, you're in covenant. If y'all got some problems and some issues in your marriage, this is how you deal about it. But you don't lead with carnality. You lead with spirituality.
You need to fill that 3 hours.
But you're giving other Christians. The Christians already don't know how to act. Are you? I mean, I'm preaching to the choir, but you guys are aware of that. Most believers, when I came into the church, I didn't know how to act. I was still trying to find out how far along I could go in relationships without it being sin. And if I was tuning into Tim Ross's podcast, apparently I go pretty far.
Well, Tim Ross's spiritual father was not a great guy.
It's true. Sure.
Maybe the apple don't fall.
Maybe it doesn't. But you understand what I'm saying? Like what it concerns me, Bishop, what podcasts and what teachings people and who people are allowing to speak into their lives. I'm concerned. Should I be concerned? I mean, I could play the clip. It's worse than what I said. I cleaned it up.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, yesterday after service, talking to someone in the parking lot, and just talking about the sermon, we went all type of different directions. But one was somehow we ended up talking about just about the parents and stuff, and I told him I used to have cornrows a long time ago, but I have no pictures of it because I threw all those pictures away because it was a girl I was dating the whole time I had those braids. And I was like, I had like cut all ties to that, so all those got thrown into the trash. So I have no images during that time. And he's talking about stuff too, is like, there's stuff I need to cut ties with, anything like clothing or anything that brings about those memories, because you want to get rid of that stuff because you want to be in covenant with your wife. And not comparing like, no, this is my wife, I love her no matter what. This is this covenant that I established, just like what you were saying. Me and him are having this conversation in the parking lot. I'm just with another believer, and Tim Ross is telling something totally different to all these people. It's like, how did you get there? Like, it's crazy to me. I mean, you had time to prepare for this. We're just in the parking lot talking about this. Like, no, you need to be in covenant with your spouse and get rid of all those ties. And you're right. The best way to have the greatest sexual relationship with your wife is not to be with anyone else beforehand, because you don't want anything else to compare it to. You don't want something to look back onto.
So you mean the Bible's right and it knows what it's talking about?
Who knew?
Here we go. Words of wisdom with the bishop. But is this? Can I just? I don't want to gloss over what you said. To cut all ties. To cut all ties. That you might focus on the covenant you're in. You went as far as getting rid of pictures. I'd like to see the pictures with you with braids. So
I would too. My kids never seen one. I have none.
But my point is, you went as far as you needed to, that you might be in covenant with your wife. See that, bro? I told my wife, this is the most carnal thing. How can you call yourself a Christian? Well, I'm just keeping it a buck. Can you find a way to keep it 50 cents? I mean, we don't need the whole dollar right now, apparently. Because you're feeding people's, you talk about Romans. This is Romans 1-3. You're feeding the carnality. You're a Corinthian church. How scintillation can we make it here? It concerns me what people are listening to. Bro, it just makes me mad. Like, man, this is not good. Y'all need to be able to discern. This is not good. What were we going to say? Sorry.
Oh, I don't know. You had said, does this concern you what people are listening to? And it does, especially depending on like how you are, marketing your podcast. Like, what is it labeled as? Because, you're looking at this guy who came from a very big church
as a pastor,
then, was as a pastor, then started his own church as a pastor.
And then he was pastoring other pastors. Remember? He said, yeah, this is who I pastor.
And then, he's got this large platform as a podcast guy now. And but he's not the only one. You had John Gray right before that. And so you got Lecrae saying crazy stuff. It's going back to John MacArthur. It makes somebody like him who passed away feel a little bit heavier
of a loss,
because it's like, where are those voices going to be when the majority of the Christian community that's out there on podcasts and stuff, not majority, there's a lot of people who are doing great stuff, are saying crazy things like this guy.
I just think so. Let me ask you guys a question. Have we not on purpose? Okay, so I'm going to keep intentionality out of it. But have we abdicated teaching what we would call, when Moses was talking to the Lord, and when Moses had a conversation with his father-in-law Jethro, it said, teach them the way, remember, and how they are to act, how they are to behave. I feel like the church has done a really good job. I'm focusing in on personable things, like how's your mental health, how's your physical health, how's this stuff, right? Your mental acuities, basically. But we forgot to teach people how to act. Like, Christians don't cuss. We don't take the Lord's name in vain. We don't get drunk anymore. We don't smoke weed. We don't go to clubs. You see where I'm going with this? Like, I feel like we've automatically assumed people would know how to act and how to behave, and we don't teach on that no more. We don't teach like, hey, no, we don't gossip. That was the old you. This is the new you. You don't bear false witness. I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm keeping names out of it because this is a true story. I literally was with the believer the other day, and they were trying to figure out how to game a system. Like, hey man, if we do this, they do groceries, and they were trying to figure out how to game the system. How do we make a little side money? How do we do it? Maybe if we don't scan it, but we put it in the cart and we just walk out with it. Maybe if we do scan it, but we told the person, hey man, we forgot it. Can you still pay for it? Like, and I'm sitting there thinking, you the old you used to game. The new you should be on point. The old you used to skim a little. The new you shouldn't skim at all. Should want to pay it back. Like, there is a way. There needs to be a dynamic change. And I don't know, is that our fault, Bishop? Are we not teaching people how to act as believers? I mean, are we defaulting to a Corinthian church because we got no strong voices and teachers teaching? Like, what do we do here?
I think a lot of time us in the church, we have a hard time finding like sort of the middle ground. In this way, in the past, people talk about in church, they didn't want to talk about sex at all.
Okay.
It's a bad thing. It's evil. It's evil. Now get married and not go have sex. Well, man, I've been told for the last 19, 20 years that's an evil, bad thing. And now you're telling me I need to go do this. Like, so you're afraid of it instead of actually teaching it in a healthy way. So it's hard to find people to find that middle ground that, hey, you shouldn't cuss. But if you're cussing, you're a heathen, you're this, and this. It's like, how do we walk them through that? It's like, it's hard to find this middle. We go to this far extreme. No, let's talk about it. Let's be real about it. So now you have them saying all this crazy stuff because they swing all the way to the other side. Like, hey, it should be talked about, but it should be done in some type of way that's healthy and not this perverted way. But everything's constantly just getting perverted to these two extremes. That's what you talk about all the time. Like, how do we find this middle ground? How do we talk about these issues, but also do it in a way that's respectable?
What you got?
I was looking for that scripture. that you're talking about, because it goes on to say when Jethro's talking to Moses, he goes on to say,
I think it's 15, Exodus 15,
and then he tells Moses, and this is what you look for in the men who are to help you lead.
Yeah.
And I think that we just need to do a better job of giving platforms. It's just so hard with social media and things like that. I mean, you can platform yourself.
It's true.
But I think we need to do a better job of platforming people who have the right characteristics in order to be platformed.
So going to this, I'm going to show you this guy. This guy is a rising, he's a pastor. James Talarico. He was on the Joe Rogan podcast because the people are trying to parade him around like he's the next great politician or whatever, but he's a pastor. And I want you to hear how he talks about abortion is not only biblical, but God allows it, and that you're okay if you do. And he is. Just watch this. Watch this clip right here. Watch this.
So I get suspicious when anybody, whether it's a televangelist or a politician, tells me that something is central to my faith when Jesus never talks about it. Mm-hmm. To me, that should, I think, ring alarm bells as to what is the agenda here. What is someone trying to get across? And I think if we're looking at the last 40, 50 years, the religious right has made a concerted effort to make homosexuality and abortion the two biggest issues for Christians. And, the Southern Baptist Convention was pro-choice until the late 1970s. So this idea that to be a Christian means you have to be anti-gay and anti-abortion, there really is no historical, theological, biblical basis for that opinion.
Well, when was abortion even invented?
Well, there were certainly abortions in the ancient world. There's some, and again, I haven't studied this enough to say this definitively, but there are interpretations of certain passages from the Torah where some folks will even say that there's some subtle instructions for how to perform an abortion in the ancient world, certain things to drink, things like that. The point is that this idea that there is a set Christian orthodoxy on the issue of abortion is just not rooted in Scripture. We can have an honest debate about it. If Pope Francis, were to come back and sit at this table and tell me, James, I'm pro-life and anti-abortion, here's my theological argument, I am here to listen and respect that opinion. I have dear friends who are anti-abortion. All I'm asking is that for Christians who are pro-choice and who respect the bodily autonomy of women, that we be given the space to make our theological argument, because I think there is a lot of biblical evidence to support that opinion.
What do you think is the biblical evidence to support the opinion of being pro-abortion?
So one, in Genesis, God creates life by breathing life into the first human being, which we later call Adam. That life starts when you take your first breath, and that is actually the mainline position in Judaism, is that that's when life starts. Then if you think about it from a Christian perspective, something interesting that Jesus does throughout his ministry is he is breaking first century norms about women, talking with women, learning from women, having women lieutenants in his movement. And this was something that was kind of unheard of in the first century. The longest conversation Jesus has with anybody in the whole Bible is with the Samaritan woman at the well. And so this affirmation of women as full and equal people is a huge part of the Jesus movement, especially the early church. And then the last, I think, story I would go to is the story of Mary. Mary is probably my favorite figure in the Bible, the mother of Jesus. And, she's an oppressed peasant teenage girl living in poverty under an oppressive empire as a Jew. And she has a vision from God that she's going to give birth to a baby who's going to bring the powerful down from their thrones, going to scatter the proud, who's going to send the rich away empty. I mean, this revolutionary song that she sings, it's called the Magnificat. And it's actually been banned by certain authoritarian regimes because it is so radical. But I say all this in context of abortion because before God comes over Mary and and we have the incarnation, God asks for Mary's consent, which is remarkable. I mean, go back and read this in Luke. I mean, the angel comes down and asks Mary if this is something she wants to do. And she says, if it is God's will, let it be done. Let it be. Let it happen. So to me, that is an affirmation in one of our most central stories that creation has to be done with consent. You cannot force someone to create. Creation is one of the most sacred acts that we engage in as human beings. But that has to be done with consent. It has to be done with freedom. And to me, that is absolutely consistent with the ministry and life and death of Jesus.
Okay. He's so smooth. He looks like Opie Cunningham, you know what I mean? Like he looked like the boy next door, just coming over just to get himself a PB&J and sit down, have a little conversation with a glass of milk right there. He looks so smooth, so polished. He is a false teacher and a pathetic liar. He can't even quote things right. He can't even get it right. This whole thing, but he's smooth. I give it to him. He's smooth. He's polished. He's well articulate. But this boy can sell snake oil to a snake. That's how bad it is. If we just start with where he's at, when he says the breath of life, this is held in Judaism, which part of Judaism? Which sect of Judaism? Amongst which Jews? This is the whole point. He said the SBC held the position of abortion. No, it didn't. Go back and Google that. It held a different position on abortion if the mother's life was in danger, if there was an immediate health risk. It held the position, but not that you could get abortions free and clear. That's not true. This is the spin people do. Here's something with Mary, consent. No, because God's not going to force it. If she didn't say yes, he'd have found another virgin. He'd have found another woman. Don't get it twisted. Mary was highly favored. In other words, the fact that God chose you, you should just hang your hat on that right there. God saw something in you. But he was going to get the Messiah here one way or the other. She was just the first person to say, yeah, I'll do it. He goes on to say, women lieutenant. This ain't no army. What you talking about, women lieutenant? You're talking about Mary was a woman lieutenant. The woman at the well was a woman lieutenant. Man, what Bible are you reading? Didn't know you got you a general's edition, patent edition of the Bible over here. We got generals and lieutenants. You just a sucker private right now. This guy's a quack, but he's up there trying to preach the gospel. And you got people tuning in saying, oh, I didn't know all this. Oh my gosh, this is so revelatory. No, it's snake oil. It's false. Well, that's what I had to say. But what you have to say about it? You like my little diatribe right there, huh? I was good. I wrote it all down. I just kept going.
Yeah, he's. I mean, from the very beginning, he was like, well, I don't know. It's like if you're gonna make a statement like that, like so boldly that you know it is, you should know. Otherwise, you start off as just like, okay, I'm not gonna listen to you. If you're gonna make such a crazy statement, it's such an outlandish statement, something like so strong, like you should know, like you should be an expert in it before you come on and talk about it. And so I was like, I just don't understand him. Like it doesn't make any sense. The Bible doesn't come out and clearly say it's against slavery. So if you go and read Exodus, we're reading right now, some people might have some issues.
Well, how about the other? You could read some Romans and have some issues.
Yeah, and so according to his logic of thinking, slavery is fine. And so obviously Joe Rogan doesn't know to ask these questions, but that'll be my next question. And so let's see what you're going to say. And I guarantee he just backpedal all the way back up. You know, he's been the greatest DP ever. Like it's like. And so it's just like if you don't, and again, like you're saying, he's smooth, and it's like if you just don't know, like see through it, like you could get tricked real easy. But it's like, yeah, the Bible doesn't especially say all these different things, but we can look at Scripture and see, like, no, this is how God values life.
Period.
Like, and it's like it doesn't make any sense. And then you call yourself a pastor, it's like it's yeah.
I guess you could just buy certificates.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you think of this guy? Smooth though, isn't he? Smooth, articulate, huh?
Yeah, very smooth, very articulate. He started backpedaling a little bit right away when he asked him, yeah, what did he say? So what does the Bible say? Oh, well, see what happened was. But we saw something else that he was talking about not too long ago.
Yeah, that was I got that same clip, but yeah, he was talking about how Jesus took advice from women. Anyway,
it's if you're not careful, you can try to spin Scripture to whatever viewpoint you want it to have. And I think that's what we see with him is that he has an undertone of this is what I want to believe, and so I'm going to have the Bible make it say that. Whether it's this is what the Bible says, and now I know what I believe.
The point that, so the biggest mystery that just cracks me up every time is John the Baptist is in Elizabeth's womb. And what happens when Mary begins to talk? He responds to the voice. So does he not have breath? Is he not alive? Is he not active? You can't get away from that. You can't. And if his whole theory is when you take your first breath, you guys have all had kids. What happens when you pinch the umbilical cord, or when the umbilical cord is around the baby's neck? What do they tell you? We got to go fix that. It's cutting off the what? Life. So if there's no breath and there's nothing going on, what's going on in the womb then? There's so many contradictions here that I don't understand what's coming. My point is, once again, we got these charlatans.
What's the two words that he used at the end?
Consent before creation.
But he said freedom and something else. And I was like, that's all it is for you.
Yeah.
Is that
no, you must have consent before creation.
But he used freedom and something else.
I don't know that part.
But that's all it is. That's what he was saying. He was like, he wants people to be able to be free, to be able to choose whatever they want to do. Like that's all it is.
I go back to he doesn't have a real Orthodox Jewish position on this either. That's the part that's frustrating. He doesn't know anything about the Hall of Souls. He doesn't even know about how they explain Jeremiah 1:5 and what they truly believe about, God knew you before the world began. He destined you.
But if I can take a little bit here and I can take a little bit there and take a little bit there, I paint the picture.
Exactly. He doesn't try to bend a buffet for people. I think this is a discipleship issue that people don't know how to act because they're not walking with us on a daily basis. They don't know, they don't see, they're not there to be corrected. It's kind of like how I know y'all remember this, and I know you still remember this because you got a real young son. You have to teach your son how to act in a restaurant. Speaking of that, because we was at a restaurant. That's my boy though, bro. I love little JoJo. JoJo's my dude. Like that's my guy. Like I have mad sympathy for him because that was me. Can't sit still, spilling water, barely eating a piece of food, spitting it out because he didn't like it. That's me. Like I got mad love. But he is hard at a restaurant. The boy don't sit still. And then he knows he's getting in trouble. I even told JoJo, don't do that, JoJo. Don't do. And he did it anyway. You know what I'm talking about.
But people tell you, hey, don't worry. It's going to get better when they get older. They don't.
That's a lie? That's a lie?
It don't get better.
Oh, don't?
No.
I got better?
Look.
It was a long time.
What did your wife say?
It was a long time. Yeah, it was a long time. Okay, it took many years. My point is, it was funny. Is everybody loves the kid, and we're all trying to help him. Like Joe, bro, you about 2 seconds away from going to the bathroom. You know what I mean? And so anyway, I'm saying all that because we do have to teach. We have to train, and I think that the church, because we're not intentional about it, is being abdicated to podcasts and to fakes like this guy, right? And this week's reading. I saw something in Exodus 24 that I was talking to Pastor Ron about it, that I don't know how I missed it, but I started seeing a little pattern here. Anytime it came time for Moses to be in the presence of the Lord, do you guys know who was with him or in the closest proximity?
Aaron.
Joseph and...
Not Joseph. I know who you mean though.
Oh, Joshua and... her or
it was just Joshua.
No, it's another dude with him too.
I know,
though.
but keep reading. It says, and Joshua went up with Moses. So there was. I will.
It was funny because they had the big group.
It did,
and they kept getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah. That's where I was going with that.
Okay.
That's why you're right, but not when it came to the closest proximity.
Yeah.
You're right. It did. So that's exactly where I was going. I noticed he had this group, right? It was like 4 or 5. No, it was the council of elders.
No, it was a big group. It was a big group.
Then it was Aaron. Then it was Joshua, and then the other guy, not but another guy.
It was another.
I was like, I saw that name. I don't know.
No one talks about that dude.
Yeah,
I was like,
I think that was the first time I saw him. He's probably been mentioned the whole of the time, but like Benny Hannes or something. Like I thought it was food. I don't know what it was. But then it came to him, and God said to Moses, "Come up again." So there's 2 observations I want to give you. Number 1, if you're going to go spend time with the Lord, you always got to go up. 5 times in today's chapter. What was today, 25 or something? 5 times Moses come up. Now you must prostrate down. But if you're going to go meet with him, you must come up. I thought that was dynamic. Okay? Like, you got to come up to where I am. He always has us level up, okay? Second, what I noticed was in that same chapter, he told the people, don't worry, you have Aaron and Ur to settle your disputes. Mm-hmm. And this is a leadership lesson. I noticed God picks who number 1s are and number 2s are. Aaron and Ur were never going to be a number 1. They were forever going to be number 2s. But yet God chose Joshua in advance that he was going to be raised up to be a number 1 person. I mean that as a top dog, top leader. Yeah. And I thought that was interesting. And number 1s must be around other number 1s to learn the why and the ways. And I've noticed this, the why and the ways. This is why I get so frustrated at the Tim Rosses. You're supposed to be teaching the whys and the ways, and you over here being carnal, bro. Carnal. The whys and the ways. And we're not doing that. Then we need to take that to the next level down, to the 3, to the 12, to the 70. The whys and the ways, so that we can teach them to teach others the why and the ways. We don't cheat on our taxes. We don't lie about our neighbor. We don't take 20 minutes on a 10-minute break. Why? Because we're different. The whys and the ways. And so anyway, that's what I got out of my reading this week. And I just felt like God was stirring a message in me. Like all these other pastors who are pastoring bigger churches, we need to teach these youngsters whys and ways. We don't do that. This is the why. We don't abuse people. Why? Because they're sheep and we got to care for them. Shout out Jeff Little's book. That guy's incredible. Take care of your people. Love your sheep. That's why. And by the way, here's the way you do it. Be in the foyer. Shake hands. Meet people. Introduce yourself. Smell like sheep. The whys and the ways. Anyway, I segmented that because that's how we show people how to act. When we go to a restaurant, when they're with us and they're around us. When I'm in Mexico, I'm very conscientious of that because I'm around people 24/7. Hey, this is how we take care of people. Hey, there's no rock stars and divas. There's no platforms. There's only altars. There's no bright lights. There's only special moments with the Lord. Take your Joshuas with you. Anyway, what'd you read this week that you liked?
Oh, that real quick too. I thought it was funny. You know, they always tell the story of Moses, how he had to hold up his hands and the Lord keep waiting. But Joshua was on the battlefield actually fighting. I was like, no one gives him credit. Like
he's down there going,
you saw that?
Put them back up. I know you're tired. Yeah. I'm really tired.
Yeah, I'm gonna get killed.
Yeah. Look, he's calling the play from down there.
So, what would you go ahead? Go ahead.
In Exodus 23, in verse 9 says, don't oppress a foreigner, for yourselves know how it is to be foreigners. But at the end of that chapter as well, he says, don't make a covenant with them or their gods. Do not let them in your live in your land, or they will cause you to sin against me, because the worship of their gods will certainly be a snare to you. And the reason I just thought that was interesting is, a big thing about like immigration and people say like how the church should feel. They always put it in notes black and white. Where we see here in this very same chapter, hey, welcome to foreigners and treat them well. Yeah. Then at the end of this chapter, don't live amongst them. They will have you worship their own gods and make you far away from me. So it's like, what is this? And we talk about this paradox. Like, what is this? And you have to be careful who you mingle with, because to say that immigration doesn't affect the culture and is a lie. We see it here in the scripture that Jesus said, like, hey, they will lead you away. And so I think we as Christians, we have to make sure, again, we try to play that middle, that we treat people well, treat your neighbor well, but also realize who we mingle with and how it does change culture and how it can take away even like our nation, how it's built upon the principles of the Christian faith. To realize these things and realize like, okay, there has to be some compromise, but you do have to love people, but it's not as black as white as people want to make it to be.
That was so good. That was great perspective. Thank you for sharing that. Hopefully that gives people a little bit of culture context too. We do love them but also we want to teach them whys and ways again of what we do. That was great. That was good. Okay, Nadab and Abihu. That's who those other guys were. That's what it says. Come up, you, Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and 70 of the elders. There you go. And it's Abihu that goes to the next one after.
Oh.
Yes, anyway.
Oh,
yeah, you can finish reading it.
No, I believe you.
Okay, yeah. It's the same thing, but we don't know who those other two brothers are, but shout out a little street cred right there, right? But we got to do a little bit more investigative report. Mike, what about you? Go ahead, what you read. Go ahead.
Just going back a little bit, what I was talking about earlier is in Exodus 18, and you had mentioned verse 20, where it says, teach them the decrees and instructions, and show them the way they are to live and how they are to behave. And then it goes on to 21, but select capable men from all the people, men who fear God, trustworthy men who hate dishonest gain, and appoint them over officials over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. And one of the things that stuck out to me about that was it just shows, thankfully, you have somebody like Jethro who comes in and gives his wisdom, his priestly wisdom. But it also goes back to, Timmy Ross over here talking about loving people, that even then they were trying to figure out ways to love people. Yeah. To lead people, to put the right people in the right place. Those characteristics that they talk about aren't necessarily characteristics that are going to be what you would find in like a great CEO of a company or something like that. Somebody who is very mission driven or goal oriented, but their values and their characteristics that you would find in somebody who loves people, who's going to do something to value people. And so as I was looking at it, I thought that was really cool that even back then we see that the church leaders are supposed to be, and church leaders in general here, or specifically here, are supposed to be people who are put in place who value people. Yeah.
No, I couldn't agree more. Which was that? That was 18? 18. Yeah, I said 15. My bad. Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to. And I want to close with this. It's our responsibility, right, as believers, to love God, to love people, and to make connections. And that's really what it comes down to. And I would just encourage everybody, work on your loving God part, and that'll help you to love people. And once you're working on the loving God part and now you're loving people, you will naturally make connections. I want to encourage everybody to know. This has been the Not a Podcast. Peace. We're out.